Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to positivepower21.org and Spreaker.com/positivepower21. You're listening to Inspirational Vibes with Sabrina.
Hello. Thank you for tuning in to Inspirational Vibes with Sabrina, a part of the Jerry Royce Live Network at positivepower21.org. I thank you for tuning in today. Today we'll be delving in with the topic believing in yourself and having high self-esteem. It is so very necessary for us to believe in ourselves in order for us to be successful. Sometimes you may find people walking around with their heads held down, not believing that they're going to make it from day to day, not believing that they're living up to their full potential, or even worse, they not believing that they're living up to a standard that someone else has set for them. It may be that their mother or father doesn't believe that they're living adequately or achieving all that they could. Or they may be defining success in things that are not necessarily that measurable, or that a token or symbol that doesn't necessarily mean that we are or are not successful. Sometimes people measure successfulness by their bank accounts or by how much status quo that they're living up to in comparison to a group that they may be affiliated with. But if we believe in ourselves, if we believe that we are indeed beautiful, that we are creatures of God, that we are here for a purpose and here for a reason, those things will show up in how we act, how we identify with others, and how we allow others to identify us. So it is very important that we believe in ourselves and have high self-esteem. Now, the opposite of that is being too arrogant or too boastful. If we research the scriptures, we'll see several times that God does not like boastfulness. He shuns upon it and doesn't want us to be too prideful. Believing in ourselves does not mean that we will center ourselves, and just believe that we are the very best at everything and no one can tell us anything, and our humility is just not present in our everyday lives. So it is indeed good for us to maintain that level of humility, because humility can carry us a long ways. But in being humble, you can also have high self-esteem. It is the two can very well complement each other and allow you to create a successful life. So it is up to us to determine how we will determine success. For me, I know that I'm not the richest. I know that I do not have the fanciest cars. Some of my friends have some very nice rides and homes that are more elaborate than the one that I live in. However, I still feel that I'm successful because I do have a home, I do have a car, I do have a bank account. It may not be as rich as some people. My savings may not be running over like some people's. However, I am meeting my needs. God and I are doing that. He's allowed me to live, into my mid-30s, and he's allowed me to obtain things. He's allowed me to earn degrees. But most importantly, he just has allowed me to still be living this life that he has blessed me with. So I do feel that I'm successful. I'm successful because I do give back to other people. I don't just harbor everything for myself. I try to also reach other people along the way. I published a poetry book last year, Poetic Rhythms of My Heart, and all of these things mean a great deal to me, but I know that it was only through the grace of God. I don't exalt myself in any of that. I just give him credit for it, and I give credit to so many people who supported me throughout these processes, including through my educational careers. So, while I do believe that Sabrina did accomplish these things, and I am successful, and I do believe that I have, pretty good self-esteem, but even I can improve upon mine. even I need to believe that I can go beyond even those things that I have accomplished and continue to live out other dreams that I have. I have dreams of writing more books. I even, like, of course, I want to write another poetry book, but I also thought about writing a children's book because there are so many valuable lessons that I learned from my parents. And the youth of today always need to hear these positive messages just to help direct them and make sure that they stay on the right path. So many principles can be brought forth through children books. And I have read a couple that I have really loved, like in the last year or two, including one by Mr. Anthony Broughton, who is a very successful motivational speaker. He's spoken at a variety of graduations this year, but he also wrote a very positive book that incorporates nature with learning lessons about having good self-esteem and having belief in yourselves. So when we do believe in ourselves, it can help us to carry out these dreams that we foster within. And it can also help us support the dreams of others. If you don't feel good about yourself, it is virtually impossible to support or help other people carry out their dreams or uplift their spirits even. If we're always downcasted, if we don't believe that we're going to make it or we haven't achieved anything, then it's going to be virtually, again, impossible for us to give back to other people or sow into them and help them believe or get through rough spots. And it's not always easy. Something can knock you off of your rocker. You may have had high self-esteem, but something may have happened to you. You may have gotten ill or lost a limb or something that changed your life so that it created a downcasted spirit about you. But it's important even in those things because life does happen and every day is not full of sunshine, but it's still good to believe that we are somebody because we are children of God and we are created in His image. Regardless of what we go through, we should always believe that we're going to make it, that we do have a reason for being here, and there are many things that we can be doing to make our life beautiful as well as the lives of others. So it is very important for us to continue to believe in ourselves. When we do believe in ourselves, others will also notice it. Have you ever noticed the same way that we know when someone comes like, oh my God, I know they're going to be talking about what they don't have or woe is me, people who always have a pity party, who don't believe that they're amounting to anything. But the flip side is also there. Some people have a level of confidence that is very addictive, or you can just notice it in them. They demand their presence whenever they walk into the room. It is just a treat to be around them. One of my good friends, Kimberly Suber, she has established the Daisy Mack Project. And with that, she has a variety of shows that she holds, hats and teas, and all of these different things that she allows people to come together, like networking socials, where she allows people to come together just so they can share about their experiences and to also foster good self-esteem, self-image. I remember this particular picture that she posted one day on Facebook, and it was something about the way that she was posing where she had one of her feet were turned in front of the other. And I said, Kim, that is a bad pose, my sister. And it was it just showed so much confidence and so much, like liveliness just from that simple movement of her feet or stance that she was holding. And I, just compliment her on all of the great things that she's doing in our communities and in the Midlands of South Carolina. Also, Janet Parker comes to mind. She is one of the local anchors on one of our local TV shows. Janet Parker, she does a number of great things, and people see it because she is now, she just got nominated for an award for the 40 under 40, which they recognize young leaders who are doing great things around the community. She hosts talent shows. She gives motivational speeches. She is involved in Fashion Week, and she's always recognized for her fashion savviness and a number of other things. So other people will begin to recognize it in you. James Patterson also comes to mind. He is a local artist in our South Carolina, between the Charleston and Columbia area. And he can really sing, and he has been gifted with the spirit of, with the ministry of singing. And he does so very comfortably. And he too is beginning to be recognized for his gifts that he gives back, and just allowing people to be included in his journey. So that success is rendering out to others, and other people are noticing him for the achievements that he's making. If these people did not believe in themselves, if they did not have a good enough level of confidence, they would not be in the positions that they are in today. But it is because of the character and the spirit in which they foster, in which they have allowed to become a part of who they are, that they are now thriving and looking forward to even greater things in the future. And it is so good to surround ourselves with people like that. If you suffer from lower self-esteem, it is always a good idea to try to find others who have a higher self-esteem, who can lift you up. If you find another person who will support your pity parties, who will also be downtrodden with you, then you will stay in that condition always. But it takes someone to help lift you up. And once you get up, just tell yourself that you're not going back down. Don't allow the devil to give you his spirit of weakness, of not believing in yourself, when we know that God has given us the faith to see ourselves through any situation or through anything. And if we are made in his image, then we should hold our heads high and believe in who we are and whose we are, and just allow that spirit to radiate through us. So it is very important for us to believe in ourselves and just create that good uplifted identity that other people will notice and can relate to. I remember when President Obama was running for presidency the first time, he created a platform on the simple phrase, "Yes, we can." And that phrase radiated through all of his speeches. He always ended them with that. And it made us believe that indeed we could. So many people took that spirit and ran with it during his election season. And it still holds true today that when we believe that we can do something, it is amazing what we can accomplish. Who would have ever thought, as a little boy growing up in Hawaii and later on becoming a lawyer in Chicago, that he would now be the president of the United States? He probably never thought that that was possible. But when an opportunity presented itself, he believed that he could. And he is. And he is still a very great beacon for us to believe in and support, and just see what we can live up to, what dreams we can foster within ourselves. You may not become the president of the United States, or you may not become the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but you can still do things that encourages yourself to believe in who you are and allow others to see the strides that you make in life. But it starts with having enough confidence to continuously believe in yourself. It doesn't matter what you lose, because sometimes we allow things that, that we have lost to affect us. Sometimes it may be a failed relationship, or, after that man left you or that woman left you, then you no longer feel that you're pretty, or you no longer feel that you are the hot man that you once were, because this relationship has ended that you may have not seen come. However, don't allow that to stop you from believing in who you are and believing that you are a valuable asset. Because just as that relationship started, I'm quite sure that there could easily be another. Once you heal, once you give yourself time to move on. So even in those type of losses, don't allow that to make you lose sight of who you are and having faith and belief in yourself. Let nothing that you go through in life cause you to believe less than who you are. Sometimes it's like when we try to, seek further employment or promotion, and And you may just get downtrodden with applying so many times and getting overlooked so many times. Sometimes you find out that the person doesn't have the same credentials that you have. And a lot of times that allows us to have a cast on our spirits and a cast on our outlooks. But it is very important not to even allow these things to take us there. Just don't go there. Don't beat yourself up. Don't have a woe is me pity party. And definitely don't knock yourself down and believe that you are less than who you really are. Less than that beautiful person that dwells inside of you. Regardless of what your size is, what shade of skin you have, where you come from, how you talk, how you speak. Because believe me, I can get a whole lot geechier than what I sound right now. I know how to turn it on and off. But even in that, that doesn't it does define who I am, because I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of where I'm from. A very rural town in South Carolina called Lane, South Carolina, But what I do hold fast to is just believing that I am somebody. My mother, Betty Brown, she always instilled in us that her grandfather taught her, and she passed it on to all of her children and to many others that she has counseled through over the years. You are just as good as anybody else. That phrase has helped carry me through some down moments that I have had, because I have not always had good self-esteem. And even today, sometimes it gets a little challenged. My sisters don't believe it. They think that I am kind of cocky, but I'm so not. I have my moments where I do get a little down on myself. But just going back to that simple phrase that I am just as good as anybody else, not because of where I live or what I have or what possessions I don't have, not because I don't have a husband yet, but even in spite of all these things, I am still just as good as anybody else. I will always try my best to live according to that principle that my mother taught me many, many years ago. She also has a dear brother, Clarence Harrison, who always told us, I remember whenever he came to visit me when I was in my youth, sometimes I guess I had my head a little lower than he wanted it to be. He would always tell me to lift my head up and always hold my head high and never look down. He was instilling confidence in me even before I really knew the matter of the principle that he was really instilling. But now it makes perfect sense. Now what my mother was telling me throughout life makes perfect sense. Because sometimes people will try to knock you down. Again, life events will definitely knock us down and get us down on ourselves sometimes. But if we believe that we are just as good as anybody else, that God is going to carry us through whatever it is that we're going through, and that we can always bounce back. Ty Tribbett has a song that says, bounce back. Surely we can all do this if we just continue to believe in ourselves. But don't let anything in life cause you to believe that you are less than, because you are always a greater than or equal to. Always greater than or equal to. No matter what the situation is, no matter what we come against, we're always those sides of the equation. You're greater than or you're equal to. You're never less than. So that is my encouragement, just for us to continue to thrive, continue to have hope and faith and belief in ourselves, and just know that you are indeed a child of God, and yes, you can. And don't let anything tell you otherwise or anyone. Be encouraged. Continue to look up, and you can always reach me at on my website. You can find my contact information at www.ablsandpoetrybooks.com. There you can also purchase a copy of my poetry book, Poetic Rhythms of My Heart. It has a lot of motivational poems in there, over 60 poems on different matters. And you can also contact me through my website as well. My email address and everything you can find there. Again, it's www.ablsandpoetrybooks.com. And I just thank you all for listening. I thank Jerry Royce for this platform. I thank Miss Louise Smith for making the connection between us. And I just thank God for life because it didn't have to be this way. Continued prayers for all of the Charleston 9 who died in the recent shootings in Charleston, South Carolina at Emmanuel AME Church. Continued prayers as they mourn the loss of their loved ones and lay them to rest. And starting today was 2 of the first funerals for the victims. So a continued prayer goes out to them. And God bless. And I will see you next time. I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to positivepower21.org and Spreaker.com/positivepower21. You're listening to Inspirational Vibes with Sabrina.